Welcome to Laugh and Learn, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had a great week. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, or anybody who's been in your life who has presented themselves as a mother figure. That could be a man, a woman, auntie, grandmama, the neighbor, all that. Because some of our mamas just didn't do their job. Mm-hmm. And we had to rely on somebody else. Even the gay kids. A lot of gay kids create their own families and mothers.
And even the mothers who have experienced loss, who may not have a kid, but have had a miscarriage.
Or if you lost your mom, the love don't leave. The parent leave, but the love don't leave.
Mm-hmm. We acknowledge all of you guys. So to get started, Flame, I know you have an announcement.
Love me when you love me, babe. Oh, I'm not supposed to raise my arm up. I got a couple of whistles. Wait a minute. What happened?
Prickly. It's called prickly. But Flame has an announcement.
Couple of announcements. New job alert. New job. Thank you, Karen Hunter and Sirius Radio. I start next Friday, the 21st, with Karen Hunter. We're doing a political and comedy and hodgepodge of stuff on the Sirius Radio XM effect. I'm still in negotiations for Love Lounge, but we'll hold off on that. Second announcement is I am so sorry to announce to you guys that I will not be attending Delaware this weekend. It just did not work out. There was a lot of misconstrues, and the advertisement just did not match the quality of who I am. So I have to pull out respectfully, professionally. I'm so sorry. I hope you guys call in and get your refund back. I did refund back the club part of the down payment, so I think there should be no issue with you all getting your money back for the tickets, even though it says non-refundable on the website. Yeah. But this is the second time that this didn't go right, and I took the brunt of the responsibility the first time, not this one. This ain't on me. I just ain't coming because I don't do bad business. Period. So if you want to book Flame Monroe at He, She, We Bookings through Lauren Hogan, understand that if you think I'm a bitch, you ain't even met this one yet.
Hi.
Okay. What's next? Let's bring Nick in.
No, we have one more announcement too. Because where else are you going to? You were going to Philly.
Oh, I'm going to Philly September the 25th. Yes. But that's after Delaware, DC in September the 9th through 11th with James and all my Flamettes. So I don't know the venue though for September the 25th. You know.
I know. It's Level Up Bar and Lounge.
Oh, Level Up?
Yes, Bar and Lounge.
Is it Sierra?
Maybe you could do a little something.
I can't do no Sierra, but Sierra did level up. She went. Her future was not that bright, so she went to Seattle and got a bright future. With what's his name? Had a baby, changed the baby's last name. Baby, let me tell you something. I don't know what y'all thought that Sierra wasn't doing. Y'all think she know how to dance on the dance floor? You better check her in the bed. Hey, Russell Wilson, boo. Woo, let's do it. Where's Nick Smith? Paging Smith, who had a wonderful Mother's Day. Nicholas was able to go home. Tell us all about it, Nick. You went to see Mother.
Did indeed. Hey, congratulations, Flame. A couple people said, what was the announcement? Tell us all about Karen Hunter again.
Karen Hunter has a show on Sirius Radio. It's been going on a couple of years. She also has a podcast. I did the podcast a few years ago, and she just hired me today, this morning, while I was on coffee time, to come and work with her starting next Friday, the 21st. My manager will work out the particulars, you know. I just look at the dollar amount. I don't want to read nothing else. I just look at the money numbers. That's it. That's all for me. But yeah, it's good. But I'm again, Delaware. I apologize for not being able to come, but it was not on me, and I'm not going to even take that this go round. Baby, how was Miss Rosetta? How was your visit with Mom?
Lauren, Flame, you both started the show just talking about people who may or may not have their mothers. I just go back. I realized this weekend, I've always known it.
Don't start crying. I'm going to click you.
Yeah, I'm just so incredibly blessed. It's amazing. But I tell you, we also thought about, because Lauren, you just kind of touched on this, we thought about the moms who maybe have lost their children because we've seen so many black men die at the hands of, not to take the show in that direction, you know what I'm saying there, but you have to know that there are a lot of moms out there right now who are hurting too. So we just did a little prayer with that. And my mom was like, Nick, you told me I would get a chance to chat with Flame, so we kept bugging Flame. Flame was like, Nick, I was trying to order chairs. Would you stop? But we did get a chance to chat with Flame.
And I really tried to call y'all back, but you just kept calling me at the most inconvenient time. So, Miss Rosetta, I promise it wasn't at Nick or at you. Nick timing was off, Miss Rosetta. Let me just tell you.
But we had a great time, and just a little inside baseball, Flame. I employed the tactics that you and I talked about, and it could not have gone better. So thank you.
No, don't say that. Tell the truth. You listened to me. Tell the truth. I told you what to do, and you listened.
That's exactly what I just said.
You don't always listen to me. Let me just make it clear for y'all, because we've been knowing each other 30 years. This nigga don't always listen to me, but he listened to me this weekend, and he had a great visit with his mom because Mother Voucher had told him, sit back and shut the hell up. And guess what he did? And you guys, let me tell you something, niggas. The videos that you guys put out, your mom looks so happy to have her
did.
baby.
She did.
I was more excited for her than for you because she was so smiley faced and just joyous that she had a big old baby back. Because you know you're nothing but a big ass baby.
Lauren, how was yours? Because you spent it with your mom too.
I did. My Mother's Day was good, actually.
Hi, Miss Marsh. I love Miss Marsh.
So I actually took her out to her favorite sushi spot. Myself, her, and my dad. We all went to the favorite sushi spot with Sky, who is my little 4-pound Yorkie. So we all went out and had sushi outside together.
That heifer.
It was, listen, we can talk about Timmy if we want to talk about dogs. All right. Okay. But no, we had a really great time. We went and had some sushi. It's one of her favorite sushi spots. She hasn't been outside in a long time just because of COVID and things like that. So, it was a really good, it was just a nice time, and it was a special time. So I'm really grateful for that. And it was just a good Mother's Day. She got some gifts and some flowers, and so yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
Nick. So if we're
talking
talking
about-
to you, but we're looking this way, we're looking at the camera because we're trying to focus more on the camera for the video now. So we still hear you when we're talking to you, but we just focus.
We're not ignoring you. We promise.
No, and you and I had talked about that before. So I'm
Kendall
glad
is getting
that-
on my case. Kendall over here fighting me. Triple about to
know.
slap the shit out of me. I don't know what to do. Shit. My house is a house of horrors.
Just
My
so you
oldest
know-
daughter gets. Oh.
But it looks good. Flame, I really like that hair.
This is my Sharon Underwood hair. I'm in the middle with Sharon Osbourne and Cheryl Underwood. So if they need a replacement, I'm a combo. I'm Sharon
Sharon's
Underwood.
been replaced.
Sharon been replaced and the ratings have tanked. Now you do the math. Okay, where we going this week? Because we're talking about some things.
Yeah. So actually, we're going to start with a young lady named Michaela Miller. And it was interesting that this came up because Flame and I actually had an offline conversation about something that happened with Izzy this week. For those of you guys that don't know, Izzy is Flame's oldest daughter. And it's really about bullying. So do you want to start with your experience?
I want you to tell the story first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Michaela Miller, she was a sophomore at Hopkinton High School, and she had gotten into a fight with her girlfriend and other teens. And she actually, and as a result of said fight, she ended up dead. And so according to her mother, so she spoke of her disappointment with the police investigation because her daughter was LGBTQ. She was a lesbian. And when this whole incident happened, the police basically said it's better that we probably sweep this under the rug because your daughter's sexuality is going to come out in this investigation. And the real kind of coup de grace of this is the 3 teens that ended up fighting Michaela Miller and ended up causing her death were 3 white girls. And Michaela Miller was a 15-year-old black girl in the Boston area. So we're just going to open up the discussion really about bullying and what's happening in the world today.
Come on, Nick. Give me yours because you ain't never had a fight. So when I get into it, I'm going hard and deep. You just
Have you never been in a fight?
Nicholas has never been in a fight.
The only time I was in a fight, Lauren, was in the military, and that was with someone else starting. You don't leave, a fellow soldier, that type of thing. But no, I've never had a situation where I had to fight. But again, I also didn't start stuff. I've always minded my own business, and then for the most part, I'm a bigger boy, so I'd never had anybody picking on me, so there are just a number of things. And I also didn't run with people who were bullies. So you didn't pick on other people. So, this is probably, I think most contentious time right now, because I think that kids, Flame and I have had this conversation, aren't allowed to leave what happened at school at home. So I think that what happens in a situation like this, particularly this particular young lady, if I understand correctly, Lauren, there was a lot happening also on social media. And it seems like these things continue to just fester and it grows. So people aren't allowed to leave that problem at school, go home, have a weekend with your family, and maybe let things die down. The bullying continues through social media.
Well, I don't even know if the social media component is at the forefront. I think it more so has to do with one that she was a gay black female and she was murdered. Really, she was lynched because she was found hanging from a tree. So she was lynched by these 3 white teenagers, and the police in the area tried to sweep it under the rug. It was more so it wasn't until her mother and other Black Lives Matter activists had come out. Now all of a sudden the DA is trying to step in and make things right. So I think it's more so geared towards racism and the how racism is taught really at this point. That's what I more so think the root of this is, and not so much the social media component, because the question goes, well, why is her sexuality, like, why is that even a factor in the investigation? Like, just those different elements is more so that hate is really taught nowadays, and we just see it festering into the younger generations. That's more so what I'm taking as the forefront of this issue. But go ahead.
You know what's messed up about that is, and when you look at how the police are doing this, if you remember the movie Boys Don't Cry that Hilary Swank won an Oscar for, the police did the same thing to the character in that movie and said that, why are you walking around with boy clothes? Why are you dressed like a boy? You can't question my life and who I am and why I'm living the life that I am, even if I'm 15. That's not your fucking business. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I don't want them to make this LGBT, because I don't know if this is necessarily LGBT. This could be, like you said, Lauren, racism. It could be a combination of things. It could be LGBT and racism, but these were teenage 15-year-old girls. I'm not understanding that you don't have one person in your life, mother, administrator, teacher, counselor, preacher, that you can talk to with a trust to tell me that I've been bullied before. So I know, but it was different then. So with the whole internet thing, and I talked about this before, all these keyboard gangsters, 100 people can get on here right now and tell me they don't like me. I don't know 100 people.
Yeah.
What you think about me don't mean shit to me, because I don't know you. You don't mean anything. You could die now, and I'm going to go have a burger. Yeah. And I'm not celebrating your death, but if I don't know you, it does not affect me. So if y'all taking it the way I said it then and taking it the wrong way, I don't care. This is my shit. And this ain't even Love Lounge. It was very sad that this girl had to experience that, and that the parent didn't step in, because you see when your children are being bullied. Now, I went up to the school. I talked about this on Love Lounge the other day, or on live or something. I had to go up to the school because Izzy had to go pick up some things. Her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend invited her to come to a fight. My daughter, the dum-dum, went up there to meet the girl to go get a fight. But the girl had 4 other girls with her. What that little heifer did not know was that Izzy's crazy tranny daddy was with her. And trust me, I'm not even finna argue with you. If these little girls would have if they were 17, 18, my daughter could have been just what this little girl was, ended up dead. Not hung from a tree, because these was little black girls, but dead. I would have beat the shit out of those little girls. Cancel culture, you mad? I'm telling you that you have to take precedence over your children, because protocol does not always work. Going to the teachers, reporting to the principal, talking to somebody, sometimes they don't do anything. It doesn't work, and your kids still end up being hurt. And these kids ain't fighting fairly. Now, these kids will cut your face or stab you. People are dying from bullying. Bullying, I used to get my ass whooped in grammar school. I whooped plenty asses too. But it was just a fight on Monday. On Tuesday, we mean mugged each other. On Wednesday, we were smiling with each other. On Thursday, we were speaking again. And on Friday, we were friends all over again. It's not like that now. It's not because nobody is taking control. And this right here, what we're on, the social media, internet, all of this is the biggest bully to me. Let's go back for the last 4 years. Social media was the biggest bully for the number one person in the country.
Yeah. And according to reports, Mikayla had been involved in a physical altercation the evening before her body was found, but that the teenagers present had not been to the area where her body was discovered. This is from forensic evidence that is being recovered right now in the investigation, and I guess testimony and alibis that they may have had. They said that authorities are still waiting for the medical examiner to determine Mikayla's manner and cause of death, and they're still waiting on the results of forensic testing and sampled items found in the area.
I tell you what, I had somebody in my inbox to tell me, Flame, you can't be fighting no girl. You still a man. I sure the fuck am. And I would have put this wig on and been a full-on man in the men's penitentiary in drag looking lovely. But those little girls would not put their hands on my door, because I would have clocked their heads. I'm not promoting violence, but if you're a parent, you need to take care of your children. You need to watch over your kids. These kids not playing. And some of these kids' parents encourage them to do wretched things to other kids. Horrible things. I don't encourage my children to go out and fight. Defend yourself. Lauren had a bullying issue she told me about, and she was pushed and pushed and pushed. When you push anybody's back to a wall, they have no other option but to sink or swim. Most of us will come out swinging. I would slap the shit out your kid. I'm letting you know. It could be kindergarten. Fuck with my kid if you want to. Okay.
Well, I'll just say this for me, and like my parents never encouraged me to fight, but my mom was very clear: don't you ever lose a fight either. So pick and choose your battles. You know, we say that, pick and choose your battles, but I was never going to be bullied. And this one incident that Flame is talking about, this girl was much bigger than me. She was hefty. And I think we kind of talked about this on the show. I don't know how, you know, she was fat. I don't know how hard she could swing. So
I was
ran
about
her.
to say, hefty. What is that, a garbage bag? No, the bitch was fat. Just call it out. Shit.
And I didn't know how hard she could swing. So I was like, well, I'm athletic. You're not. So I ran her around the schoolyard till she had an asthma attack. You pick and choose your battles. You just got to pick it. And then, you know, and I have actually, you know, put some people in chokeholds and things like that. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Lauren's a big bitch. Let me tell y'all. Lauren's a big bitch. Lauren's about 6'2". So Lauren's a big bitch. Don't get it twisted.
Bottom line, I don't fight fair, and you ever lose a fight. Okay, those were my mom's things. You don't fight fair and don't lose a fight.
And I tell my kids the same: don't fight, don't start the fight, but fight back.
Yeah,
which is what we need to do as Black Americans right now. All this marching and talking and protest, we got to fight back.
Yeah.
Vino Diva says, yes, Flame, I have gone to the school and found the little boy who was picking on my little girl and told him I would cut his effing hands off his mama, his daddy, and his whole family. So it looks like you're
Straight
right. Parents, don't play that at all.
Well, I'll say this too. If my mama ever came up to the school, the whole staff was scared. They were like, oh my God, Miss Hogan, what's wrong? What's wrong? Why are you here? You didn't want my mom coming up to the school, okay? Everybody knew, run for cover because some shit's about to happen.
You know what's funny about that? When we were children and we had those parents that would come up and be aggressive like that because they were so overprotective of their children, all of us would be like, oh, your mama doing too much and woo, woo, woo. But now as a parent, you understand that I didn't do enough because I'm telling you, heads will roll messing with me. Don't mess with my children because I didn't raise those kids. Now, they
Flame,
talk smack just like they did.
Can't you even agree, too, that when we were in school, that you really just didn't do that? Like if the teacher told you, like you didn't talk back to teachers, any of that, you know, so the idea.
Well, that don't apply to me because I surely did.
Okay.
I surely did.
I would tell a teacher to shut the hell up talking to me quickly. That was third grade.
That was my threat. Like, you want to talk to me crazy? Trust my mom will be here at 3:00 to handle you. That was my threat. And I knew that my mom was showing up. And
so, Marsha, it's your fault. Miss Marsha. So it's your fault, Miss Marsha. Because this thing right here.
Shoot, that mouth comes in handy, though. I'm tell you that.
Yes, it does, honey.
Tell you that.
Good mouth always works. Oh, we talking about the... Oh, okay, yeah.
Lord. It went left real quick.
It's sad, though, because the girl is 15, and apparently she was very comfortable with her sexuality. Yeah. She was open about it. She was free. She was comfortable enough in her house and in the city and in the school that she went to be who she wanted to be. It's just too much going on in the world, and I didn't even know about the lynching part. I really didn't. That just, shut up, Flame Monroe. You're going to get canceled for real. I'm going to hold that thought. We'll do it at Love Lounge.
And a parallel to it, I know in some ways it was viewed as a comedy, but it kind of reminded me of the Get Out, of the movie Get Out, because I don't remember, or I'm not for sure about it, but I believe that that Mikayla Miller's girlfriend was white. So it kind of reminded me of the movie Get Out a little bit, because it's interesting that, you know, all of a sudden they started this fight and then these 3 white teenagers rolled up on her and then she ends up dead. It was a little eerie for me. So, like I said, I know the facts of the case are coming out still, but this goes to what we've been talking about in terms of distrust between the community and the police, and even really the DA's office at this point, because a lot of people are blaming the DA for negligence in this case of trying to sweep it under the rug. So I don't even know if the community is going to trust the investigation at this point, and if they're going to decide to do an independent investigation. I did read some reports about that too, that, you know, Black Lives Matter was going to assist the family in doing that, but it's sad and it's tragic. It really is. There's just no other way to put it.
I smell Ben Crump. I smell Reverend Al Sharpton. I just smell it. I feel it all over this case. I smell it.
I mean, they may end up doing that, you know, and it's just like we just talked about, you know, Ma'Khia Bryant a couple of weeks ago, and it's like now we have another young Black, you know, child that's being murdered.
Marching and protesting ain't enough, y'all. I'm sorry. Marching and protesting is not enough. It's just not getting anything done. In fact, we're going backwards.
Nick, do you have any final thoughts before we segue into a lighter topic that I think we can all laugh about?
I think that what we will do, what we'll do at the end of the show, Lauren, in the description, I'm going to make sure that we include like a resource, something for suicide prevention or LGBTQI awareness.
Well, it wasn't suicide. She was comfortable with who she was. She was happy with who she was.
They're just saying we don't know that yet, Flame. They don't know that she may have hanged herself. That all that's still part of their investigation. That's what they're talking about now.
I'll just say this on that front, because I remember a couple of years ago, a gentleman ended up hanging from a tree in Piedmont Park, and they tried to say it was a suicide. I don't know any black people that would just willingly go into a public space and hang themselves from a noose. I'm just going to say that.
I don't know
find
anyone
that-
who would commit suicide. So I think that mental health
Yeah, you
is
do.
a great
Yeah,
area.
you do.
And
Yes,
so
you
what
do.
I'm
No,
saying is I
I-
think that we need to make sure we just provide a resource is all I was saying. I was not trying to challenge the status quo. I
Oh,
was
no,
just
no,
simply
no,
saying
no,
if
no.
there's
We're
somebody-
not, Nicholas, don't make it like that. But you do know somebody who commits suicide. You know me. You know Lauren. You know your friend. You know your mom. Anybody could be put in that position to where they feel like there is no way out. So I understand what you're saying with that one. But I don't believe this girl hung herself. Not at 15. First of all, black people, that's too much time for us to think about it. When we want to off ourselves, it needs to go quickly where we can't think about it again. So if you jump off the bridge or you blow your brains out, we're not encouraging suicide. But as black people, it can't take a long time. We sticklers for time. We were slaves. We didn't even wear watches. We didn't know it was time to quit till they said it was quitting time. So that's why they was something. Why black people ain't on time? Because we didn't have watches. We had to wait for somebody to say it was quitting time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring it back around. I do understand what you're saying. I do not believe that this young lady hung herself.
And that's part of the issue, too, I'm going to say, is with the narrative and the distrust. Because for them to even try and paint that narrative that this young black girl went out into the open and, willingly put herself up on a noose is just, it's ludicrous.
That give us too much time to rethink it. Like, oh, I don't think I want to go this way. Because what if I don't look cute when I die? My neck go
That's
this way. And I
just-
want my... Yeah, no.
no. So,
If I'm going to do it, I'm going to jump off a bridge and ain't going to be no water at the bottom.
anyway. So on a lighter note, I think that something we can actually laugh about is let's talk about Rudy Giuliani, because we didn't get to talk about him last week. So Nick, do you have that synopsis in front of you, or do I need to dig a little bit?
Since you brought up LGBT, let me. And I'm saying it like that, Rudy, because I'm not saying that Rudy Giuliani is LGBT, but he likes to wear women's clothes, makeup, hair, and dresses. I do too. So Caitlin do too. So ooh. Come on,
All
Nick.
right.
Let's
We're
talk
talking about
about
Rudy
Rudy.
Giuliani. A former U.S. attorney says that Rudy will be forced to face the truth. Rudy Giuliani's office and home in Manhattan were raided. For the level of this search warrant to be issued and approved by a judge, there has to be reasonable cause to believe that there's evidence that can be obtained from that location that is either supporting or can exonerate the charges leveled against the accused. The accused in this case being Mr. Giuliani. Not only that, they also talked about how the bar for this warrant in this particular situation was even higher, because this was not just an attorney, which is hard to get in a search warrant against, but this was the personal attorney of the most powerful man in the United States. It's also important to mention that this investigation started under the last administration. This has nothing to do with the Biden administration. The only reason it's tied to the Biden administration is because of our current Attorney General, Merrick Garland, who is following through with a case that already started its investigation under the Trump administration. So they believe that the idea behind collecting these electronic devices from his home and his office have to be germane to a crime, because a judge would not have signed off on a warrant for someone of that status and that stature were it not credible.
Well, I think the funny part of this is one, this is now the second personal attorney for Donald Trump that has had their homes raided.
Because Michael Cohen was hers, right?
Exactly. Two, Joe Biden knew nothing about this. He got the news when this broke. Everybody else did. He got it at the same time that we did. And more importantly, Rudy has been going on a Fox News rampage talking about how this was unjust and unfair and is actually damaging his case. So New York's once beloved mayor is really going downhill these days.
Well, didn't his own daughter come out and say that something was wrong with him, that she wouldn't vote for him, and woo, 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 woo? Didn't his own daughter do that?
Yeah. I think
What else do you need to know? She lived in the house with him. She knows her father. When your kids live in the house with you, they know you better than anybody else does. If she gave us, it's warning before destruction. That's in the Bible. She gave us a warning. Child of destruction was coming. I have no sympathy for Rudy. I wouldn't give a fuck if he was 300 years old and they put him in prison by himself for the rest of his life. I wouldn't. He didn't care about the American people.
Right.
Every lie he could think of when Donald Trump was in office, he told every lie, got on TV publicly and blasted everybody to cover up Donald Trump. There is no, I have no empathy, no sympathy, no nothing for him. Put the nigga in jail, give him a dress and no mirror, and give him some makeup and no mirror so he'll never know what the fuck he look like, because we don't care what he look like no way. That's my opinion. I don't care.
Let's even take that a step further, Flame. This is someone I think has fallen in spectacular glory. He was America's mayor. You remember when that was his moniker, his nickname?
After in September 11th. Wasn't he mayor on September 11th?
After 9/11, he came out front. He symbolized what I think many people needed in this time of tragedy, right? Someone leading us through all of this. I could have seen a Rudy Giuliani being the favorite son of New York, statues, libraries, buildings named after him. None of that. He has so severely damaged his legacy, I believe, with his, he still rants about the election being stolen from President Trump. There's just so many things that you sit back, any reasonable person would say, Mr. Giuliani, why are you doing this? Why did you stake everything you worked for on this particular person? The latest thing with all of this, Flame, is he's had to lay off staff because, Lauren, you may have read this as well.
He's broke.
Because of, he's broke. He's bleeding through money.
I saw Mark made a comment talking about he can be my new sugar daddy. You can't have a broke sugar daddy, Mark. It doesn't work that way. But go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
Yeah, Mark. The idea behind this, you want one with a little bit of change, and I think he has nothing but change now, and that's the problem. So so it's just. It's
I bet you he can't. I bet you
on Wednesday, last Wednesday.
No, finish, Nick. I'm sorry.
No, that was just it. That federal investigators on Wednesday seized cell phones and computers from Rudy Giuliani, the former mayor of New York, who became President Donald Trump's personal lawyer. They're stepping up their criminal investigation into his dealings in Ukraine. So this is all tied to Ukraine, which again fell under the Trump administration. I've seen some people saying this is Biden exacting revenge. President Biden has nothing to do with this at all.
I bet you he can't call Donald Trump for a loan.
Well, the thing is, he's made a phone call to Donald Trump, and apparently Trump is not taking his calls. And publicly, Trump is just saying that's a terrible situation for Rudy. He's doing what he always does. He's casually distancing himself because it seems like the other shoe that's about to drop is now our previous Attorney General Barr is also being investigated for being disingenuous in terms of why he was even able to be in that seat. His statements that he made to Congress before he was actually assigned that position was misleading. He wasn't being honest about what he did. So now Barr is also being investigated too. But just history lesson. There's a long history between, I'm going to just say Jeffrey Epstein, Barr's father, Donald Trump.
Gates.
So there's
that just
there's a
came
long
out
history.
today.
This is complete non sequitur here quickly. You just mentioned Jeffrey Epstein. And I read an article that supposedly Melinda Gates had a real problem with him, like did not like him. And that was the reason. That was another one of the reasons she did not like Bill's closeness to. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even think they knew each other. It seems like everybody in that circle kind of all, there's just a.
So background.
There's a circle of rich men, yeah.
So background, and I know a lot of this stuff because my mom was born and raised in New York. But Barr's father was actually the head, or he was the dean of an all-girls school that was actually in New York. And he ended up hiring Jeffrey Epstein as a teacher then, even though he lacked credentials. He had no credentials whatsoever and knew of the sex scandals that were happening with Epstein and these younger children, females that were there. That's how the relationship started. So as things evolved, of course, Barr became friends with Epstein as well. And then you throw Trump into the mix and all of a sudden we have these large scale, sex trafficking rings that are happening. So it's very deep and very rooted for sure.
Trust and believe Bill Gates will pay Melinda whatever she wants because Melinda going to know way more than she's supposed to. I think that's going to be an amicable split like Jeff Bezos and his wife.
Well, the tea is the day that Melinda filed for divorce, Bill Gates had just given her $2 billion. $2
billion ain't enough. Bill Gates is worth $180 billion.
I'm just saying the fact that she casually got $2 billion on a random day, who knows how much money she actually has? She casually got $2 billion just on a random day.
Girl, what's your number?
And I believe, and help me here, but I believe that she's rather accomplished as well, right, Lauren? She wasn't just a trophy wife. Yeah,
He wasn't going to marry some dumb female. Like, let's talk about it. They've been married a very long time. And I'm just saying.
27 years, right?
Yeah, and she's not seeking spousal support. So that just goes to how much money Bill has probably given her over the years, how much stock she has, and just all of the different organizations she's actually created for herself. She's like, I don't need his money. I got $2 billion the day I, filed for divorce.
My personal conspiracy is she's fed up. She's sick. Let me tell you something about how thin the line is between genius and lunacy and being very rich. Because he's not very rich. He's ridiculously rich to a point where he can buy people, own people, and do what he wants to do with people. He done ran out of things to do. He has turned into a mad scientist. And he said it in 2011. I told y'all that. If you go back and look at his thing, he said that the world was overly populated by 3 million people. Baby Melinda probably sick of he buying up all this farmland and doing a whole bunch of stuff. My conspiracy, this ain't got nothing to do with Laugh and Learn. This ain't got nothing to do with Nick and Lauren. This my shit. What I'm saying. I think the nigga done lost his cheese and slid off the cracker because of money. It's not the money. It's the power. He had money for it. He's been rich for a very long time. Super long time.
Just so you know, that is one of the greatest myths, right? Bill Gates never said that. It's attributed to him. Like he never, and it's 3 billion people, but he never actually said it. But it's someone said, just like Bill Gates said, and it became one of those things that has gone viral since then.
I don't care if it's 2 billion, 3 billion. We 600,000 dead from a man-made coronavirus. Let me say that one more time. From a man-made coronavirus, we are 600,000 dead and counting every day. That was my spiel.
So let's bring in some Flamettes, shall we? I think let's see how people are feeling these days about, since you thought I was attacking you, let's bring in good old Marky Mark.
He likes to be attacked. He'll bottom anyway.
Whoa.
What? I'm telling you what he said. What he said?
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
I wasn't attacking you, I swear.
I love Mark.
Hey, guys, sorry.
He's driving.
You were attacking me. Hold on. I'm pulling over. Sorry. Okay. First of all, the whole Bill Gates thing, yeah, homie's all up in it with COVID. And I am with you on that one regarding his involvement and the power that comes with that. And he's always had speculation surrounding him. So,
Marky Mark, he ain't got no money?
Who?
Oh, you talking about Bill Gates. I thought you were talking about Giuliani.
Hey,
Hi, TT Jan.
Hey, guys. Hey. Bill is crazy, but after you get all the money, where do you go but crazy? I mean, you know what I mean? Anything you want is just a hand throw. You go no place else but crazy. You know what I mean? And that's not an excuse at all. But I mean, think about it. If Bill couldn't buy coochie, I mean, come on. I mean, that would be his big thirst. And so you got all the money, you can buy all the coochie you want. I mean, and I get it. His side piece is not easy on the eye. But, it's like this is all he has to do is buy crazy stuff and do real crazy stuff. Now, nobody knew. I don't know what people actually knew about Jeffrey. You know what I mean? Because there's always been a string of speculation tied to him. But Jeffrey was a mover. You know what I mean? So it was just as important to him that he moved in the circles that he wouldn't have normally been in had Barr's father not let him in into the elite. You know what I mean? So he liked rough shoulders. I don't know if everybody he bumped into knew. Certainly, I mean, Bill ain't coming out to wash your clothes clean, and I'm sure. Now Maxine probably wants to kill herself. His side piece, the baby.
Is that her name, Maxine?
We haven't heard anything about her. Who knows if she's alive or dead?
Ooh.
Is that her name, Maxine?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
No, Max.
Ghislaine. I thought you said Maxine. I thought Ghislaine. First of all, I don't think that Jeffrey Epstein is dead. I've said this a couple of times. I don't believe he did. I believe that was a fake body and he's somewhere.
A lot of people think that.
I don't believe he's dead.
And it could be.
I believe he paid those people off to get out, and he did, because I think that if he was dead, he had already given paperwork to somebody else besides Ghislaine Maxwell to say, if anything happens to me, put this out.
Well, it might be a situation too where people assisted in kind of covering up, or if they wanted to fake his death, whatever the situation may be, because he just knew too much.
Did it start at the top?
Yes. Look at all the people that are just falling by the wayside. And this is not over. This is not over with Jeffrey. It's not over with Bill. I know he's shaking, but it's like I wish they would start golfing or something and quit getting so damn weird.
Oh, Jen, it's so funny you said about golfing, because I think Marky was the one who sent me somebody sent me something about 71 days with Joe Biden. No bad tweets, no disrespect, no harassment, no racist statements, just all that. I'm like, oh my God, it's the comparison is like,
it's refreshing.
Oh wow,
It's so refreshing.
Yes,
like
it is.
wow.
The real tea is that
But
Joe
you know what?
Biden's
It's
dog
almost
is just
like
biting
being-
people. So
Yeah, but it was almost like being an abused woman. I kept thinking any day it was going to start back up, the lunacy of Trump. Even though it was Biden, I was like, something crazy has got to happen. You know,
I don't think Trump. I mean, they're gonna get his ass sooner or later. I just feel it. I mean, at this point, he would have already been talking a big game about his comeback with his ego. So the fact that he's dropping tidbits here and there, you know, on his news networks that he likes to frequent. I mean, he's nervous about something. And, you know, Wednesday, the GOP, they do their vote to oust Liz Cheney, which we'll see.
we're going there too, Mark. We're going there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I think Wednesday is really going to be a telltale of the shift of the, I don't even like saying Republican Party, because I associated with the Republican Party for a long time. I have a lot of friends, and that's what I see now is just not the conservatives that we saw at one point. I mean, the basic principles of conservatism have just completely gone out of the window. So, you know, who knows what that party has going on and what the future will be, but Wednesday will be a telltale sign of where they go, if it's going to be the MAGA Trump situation, or if they're going to really keep Liz in her position and try to shift the narrative within their party. So
if they get rid of Liz, they've lost a jewel.
Oh yeah, and they're gonna, instead of gaining those 4 seats that they gained, they're gonna lose more. So
Because she is the Nancy Pelosi of the Republican Party.
Hey, Nancy.
Yeah.
And here's the really interesting dynamic is that Elisa Stefank, I think is her name, or I forget how to pronounce it, so excuse me, but the lady who they are wanting to replace her from upstate New York, she actually has an even less conservative voting record. But the only thing that ties her differently than Liz Cheney is that she backed up most of the things Trump did. So even though she's not even on record a conservative as much as Liz Cheney is, based on her voting record, the difference is that she backed Trump up.
Well, she just started backing Trump. She backed Trump for this last thing. Liz Cheney backed Trump for 93% of everything that he wanted to do while he was in office. This girl who y'all talking about, what's her name?
Elizabeth Stefanik.
She just backed Trump for this. The election was a farce. That's why they jumping on the bandwagon with her. I hope Liz Cheney stands her ground. I love that she's standing her ground, and I hope that they do remove her from her seat, that she comes over to the Democratic Party and makes some changes in the Democratic Party. We need some balls over here. It's too many people in the Democratic Party with power. Well, she may not do that, but it's too many people in the Democratic Party that don't have any balls, no backbone. They too fucking scary.
Well, I mean, I agree with that. I think that the Democrats definitely need to grow some balls. I mean, if we're even going to talk about Senator Clyburn.
You can borrow mine.
Even if we go to Senator Clyburn and some of the remarks that he made to, I think yesterday about qualified immunity has me looking at him kind of sideways. But on the Liz Cheney front, one, I think that it's really unfortunate what's happening to her. And it's like, yet again, here's another woman trying to be at the forefront and do the right thing. And she's being, the sacrificial lamb. But at the same time, I kind of feel like, is this karma for the Republican
Yes.
Party? Because in a lot of ways, like Mark said, if they decide to oust her, which I think they're going to end up doing, that she's going to be voted out, and they have this new, and they have Elizabeth Stefanik step in, the Republican Party is really shaping them to say that they're the party of Trump. And I think what we're probably going to see is more likely is that there's going to be a group of the GOP, and I think this has already started. They're going to kind of create their own party to say that they're the new GOP. That's the only thing that they can do. Because in a lot of ways, people forget how screwed up the GOP was even before Trump. Like Liz Cheney is still Dick Cheney's daughter. Dick Cheney was a part of the Bush presidency, and Bush was a screwed up president.
Right.
But because we got Trump 8 years or 12 years later, everybody forgot how screwed up a president Bush is because he snuggles up.
That ain't why they forget. They forget because he made a nice speech at whose funeral? Whose funeral? He spoke.
McCain.
McCain.
He made a nice speech. So black people, you know how we are. Ooh,
No, it wasn't that. It's because we had Trump, and then he snuggles up against Michelle Obama. That's why people forget how screwed up of a president Bush was. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bush and Obama are tight now. Everybody's like, "Oh,
believe
Bush, he's cool."
Because she normalized him.
That's exactly what she did, and he was a screwed up president. Hell, if we're gonna talk about it, Dick Cheney really was the one that ran the country.
Yeah, it was
during
John
Bush's.
Lewis's. It was John Lewis's funeral.
Okay, well, I'm saying Dick Cheney
Okay.
was the one that really ran the whole country when Bush was president, if we're going to talk about it. So let's not forget where Liz Cheney stems from. So.
Yeah, that is the truth. But, I like to believe, and I could be naive, that people viewing how messed up the world is now as far as relations, I'm hoping. I'm okay I'm okay with her politics, but I'm hoping that she doesn't compromise on her integrity. You know what I mean? Because it's a lose-lose for everybody. You know what I mean? It's a lose-lose for everybody. If they lose her, I still believe she's always going to identify with that party, and I'm okay with that. But what it really shows me is what you have to do and prove yourself as being a female. You know what I mean? Because she is definitely a jewel for the Republican Party. We've tolerated Mitch McConnell and his bliss stupidity, and he has no shame about it.
And
Him
his
and
turkey
his
neck.
gangster girl wife, no shame about it.
You know when you see all these people speaking.
McConnell's a smart politician, though.
But somebody needs to cut the strings. Nobody has cut the strings yet. Nobody has allowed the strings. Everybody is being dictated as a puppet right now. Everybody is a puppet. Everybody's a marionette. Somebody need to cut the strings and just start it all over. Liz Cheney looked like she wants to do it, and I'm damn sure that Nancy Pelosi got her sizzles. But when I watch, like with Tim Scott speaking, you watch all these. What's the young guy named? Fowler. What was his name? The Republican.
Oh yeah, Josh Fowler.
Fowler. They when you hear them speak, it don't even sound like they're speaking their words. They're speaking for somebody else.
They're Selford wives. They're Selford. They're all cut from the same cookie cutter, and they're trained to say that. I mean,
I would love to see a lot of the moderate Democrats, and a lot of the more liberal conservatives come together and do something to either, I know, creating a new party's hard, but do something that I think would really resonate with a lot of people in this country, because nobody fits either side perfectly. I'm sure, I know you, Flame, you say a lot of things that, conservatives would meet you in the middle on ideas. And I'm sure that goes for all of us on here. We are really in the middle, but politics is just used as a weapon. Religion is used as a weapon for politics. And it's literally to pin us against each other, to put us back in our corners. So I would love to see a more moderate party come together from people from both sides who are having issues in their own caucus, and see, I think it's going to be really attractive to most Americans.
I mean, but people get together and put deals together. I don't think we're going to ever see a 3-party ticket, and I'm okay with that, because no matter what you do, when you have a group of people together, they're going to start breaking off into subcommittees and self agendas. Nobody's ever going to hold hands and sing, kumbaya. That's just not the world. The reason that we have, or I have my beef with the Democrats is not because it is because they're soft, but that's because we welcome everybody. We're the party of everybody. Republicans want that money. They protect that money. And if you don't have any money, they don't have a problem saying, we really don't like you or any of the things that you need for your family. Whereas Democrats accept everybody. We want everybody to have health care. We want everybody to have breakfast in the morning. So that's the problem to me with the lack of balls in the Democratic Party. And we fight so hard because, once again, we know what we want to reach people, but then we get caught up in all these damn different, taglines and messaging. You know what I mean? And it divides us further.
Progressive Democrat, liberal Democrat, modest Democrat, way far to the, independent progressive, all these.
Or honestly, but my main issue with the Democrats is that we're always so eager to meet somebody in the middle. Sometimes I really wish that we would just stick to our morals and do what needs to be done. And I bring up the example of Senator Clyburn saying that qualified immunity didn't need to be a part of George Floyd's bill, which I think is crazy. It's no different from the remarks we talked about last week that Kamala Harris is making. We're always trying to make concessions to meet people in the middle, and we feel like we're trying to do what's right. And sometimes that's just not what we need to be doing. We need to stick to our guns and actually implement policy change. That's what we need to do. Yeah.
I'm telling y'all right now, we just have to pay attention because we headed for something. I don't know what exactly it is, but we're headed for something. And every day they show us. Every day they showing us something. I'm telling y'all better pay attention and pay attention to these voting laws changing.
The qualified immunity, I think the hard thing with that is the language is going to have to be so precise that it's going to be challenging. You're either going to be, I'm for it or against it. You're not going to be able to find a middle, because if you try to say, well, we need qualified immunity to be there to an extent, there's so many scenarios and nuances that the language would be almost impossible to write up. So I think, you're going to be on one side of the fence or the other, and it's almost like how do you weigh it? So that is going to be challenging, and I would love to see how people come in the middle with that, if there's even a possibility.
Well, I think that's going to really turn into another political issue, because qualified immunity, in my opinion, needs to be removed, because that's ultimately what protects cops when they, when we have officer-involved shootings and they're, killing the people that they're supposed to be protecting and serving. Qualified immunity needs to be removed. And I know, like we talked about last week, New Jersey was the first one to kind of start taking those steps to remove it. And they're, trying to not make mentally distressed calls to the police department. So New Jersey's trying to take strides. But ultimately, qualified immunity needs to be removed, because otherwise that gives cops the ability to keep shooting people and not being prosecuted for it. Or they can take it a step further, just like what Derek Chauvin and, Amber Geiger are doing. They have this whole appeals process because of qualified immunity. It's giving them the law is on their side. And that's what the problem is. It's not being provided to the civilians and the citizens of this country. It's being provided to these people, as Flame has said, who have these badges and guns to protect them.
Right.
Well, it really protects them from civil litigation and lawsuits. That's one of the main things. But if a crime's clear as day, they're going to be prosecuted. Here's like the example that I would use. If a cop is, let's say arresting a female, and he does a backhanded pat down, and she makes a claim that he touched her, she can now sue him with no problem in the world. That's where the language is going to be hard to outline with what qualified immunity is common sense, but also what isn't. A clear as day killing shouldn't be qualified. It shouldn't qualify for immunity, in my opinion. But again, it's going to be one or the other. I don't think there's going to be a middle ground on it. But for me, I think get rid of it altogether. Because at the end of the day, to me, a life is more important than a lawsuit. hire a good lawyer and fight your case if you believe you're innocent. That's what I look at it,
But Mark, to your point though, I think that the middle ground would be body cameras. That's why we have body cameras. Because to your point of if a cop, is sexually assaults or, a female or backhands or whatever the example you provided, that's where body cameras kick in. That's where the accountability comes in. You record those
they
things.
click their button.
Well, turn your camera off if you pull me over, because if you touch me right, I'm going to touch you right back. Shit. And we don't want that on film. That's only fans deal.
But it is, and I think body cameras they also have to be looked at again, because to me, an officer shouldn't have control over when that camera is filming or when it's not. So if they need to invest in better technology, then that's something that needs to be a conversation.
And Mark, I hear you on that, but what difference does it make if you have the footage, if you have the whole footage, the camera running the whole time, but like North Carolina, they released what they wanted us to see. See, somebody is still in charge. They showed us what they want, them 20 seconds that they wanted us to see. Not what happened. That camera could have been going the whole time. We need somebody in there who's going to micromanage and fine tune and say, hey, here's the entire unfiltered film. Don't put the police captain in charge, who you already known is a raging fucking racist.
A third party independent entity that oversees that and is responsible. I agree. I don't think it should be up to any head of a department or even city official. It definitely needs to be overseen by a different entity that is made up of.
Well, see, and I think but all of the things that we're talking about, these technically all go under the umbrella of qualified immunity. All of these entities and all of these different elements and aspects, they all go under the umbrella of qualified immunity. So remove that, and you are actually ripping the Band-Aid off and are giving people a fair opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Here's the crazy thing. None of us are elected officials, and all of us are sitting here having an intelligent conversation, brainstorming ideas that make sense one way or another, and yet we pay these people to sit their ass, to collect money from special interests, and not put any legislation.
That's our fault, Mark. But that's our fault. That's our fault. Let's go back to Allison. Let's go back to you have to start voting at the local level to get the people that you want to be in those spaces. We're going to bring Allison on. Bring Allison on, Lauren. Because let me tell you something. That goes right back to what she's been saying. You got to start locally in order to get the people that you want. We keep waiting till they fucking reality stars and big names and
You have to hold their feet to the fire.
Baby, please, you better do it.
Hey everybody, how are you all doing today?
Hey, Lady City Council, we rocking with you over here. Marky Mark then brought you up again because he was talking about that we need people that think like us, look like us, feel like us, and break it down for us, Allison. How can we get there?
So here it is. So I was listening about the body cameras. And again, there was one time that I was not for body cameras. And I'm going to tell you why. Because here in Lakeland, they were trying to get they are still trying to get the body cameras. And over a course of 5 years, it's going to cost $5 million, right? And then I was asking the question because somebody had to educate me. I said, and I asked these two questions. I said, listen, which camera would you trust? Would you trust Officer Bilbo or would you trust Allison camera? And a lot of people said, I trust your camera. And I said, well, why would you trust my camera? Because you won't do anything to it and you will release it immediately. Right. And then they said, well, it's going to cost over 5 years, $5 million, right, for us to house this information. Right. Because you need somewhere to house this said information that comes from the footage. And I said, well, we can put that money in youth and senior programs and housing. Well, let me tell you how I was educated. If you paid close attention to the George Floyd's case, not only was that girl's recording used, but the officer's body camera was used. Right. And with that, they also, with the officer's body camera, right, that also is an automatic, it is admissible in you can use it in the court of law. With our phones, they question it, right? Correct. So what are you saying to us, Allison? Well, your local police force is not an intelligence agency. So when you find that local police force is redacting information and things like that, that's an automatic flag, right? Because the local police force is not an intelligence agency. And then and now we're having issues with Oh, well, they're not releasing the information. Ding, 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 ladies and gentlemen. That's where you go tap on your mayor. That's where you go tap on your city commissioners. Because what we keep forgetting is that our city commissioners and our local police force, they get their money from the city. And their bosses is the commissioner. Their bosses is the mayor, right? The chief of police, their boss is the mayor, right? The city workers is the ones who implement the policy that's set forth by people who the city residents elect. So that is when you hold your city commissioners accountable. That is when you hold your mayor accountable. Don't let them release that information. Okay, let's go tap on our city commissioners who come ask for our vote. They don't mind tapping on us.
Too, in some districts, actually, the case up in there was someone who was just killed by law enforcement. Actually, a judge has to sign off and give permission for footage to be released to the public.
North Carolina. That was in North Carolina, Mark.
That's why it's still hung up.
Right. But again, that is true. However, if the mayor asks for it, it must be released. Because at the end of the day, that local police force, that money that your local police, everybody's local police, guess where they get their budget from? They get the city commissioner grants their budget. So because I give y'all money, whatever I ask for, I shall get.
Yeah, but you have to remember also who's in bed with each other.
Yeah,
that too, TT Jan. I agree with you. I agree with you. It's all a game. Right. But that is why, TT Jan, it is important for us as a people to study who the hell we vote for. Not to curse in front of you, but I'm just saying. That's why it's also important, TT Jan.
She do a lot of cussing. Don't worry about it, Alice.
That's why it's also important, TT Jan, that we don't just sit at home and look at the news and complain about what's going on. Because I said the difference between white and black folks, black folks talk about it and go home. Some of us. White folks, when they get scared, they talk about it and go vote. See, that's what black people need to do. We need to talk, vote, and take our asses home. Right. Period.
Right. Or they try and get their local elected officials to create voting bills that restrict colored folks from voting.
And then what? Because what happens is what's going on here in Lakeland. They push money into the candidate that they want to win. Right. Yeah. Pushing the money. But that's what black folks need to do. Let us start pushing money into the candidate that we want to win.
Favorite line from John Q. Denzel Washington movie. My favorite movie by Denzel Washington. Favorite line. His wife told him when the son was dying, "Do something. We got to do something." Right. Do something. All this, I'm with you, Allison. All this talking shit. Then you listen to celebrity. Part of the problem is a bunch of these celebrities who's dead silent right now. But when the primaries getting ready to come up next year, they're gonna be out talking about hold your vote. What did they do for black people? What have you done for black people? You ain't said shit since Biden has won. Right. And y'all know who I'm talking about. Ice trays, IQs, ice quarters, ice clubs, all that shit. Y'all ain't said nothing. All y'all running around hollering, hold your vote. Hold your vote. Everybody dead silent right now. But when the checks come out for 2022, black folks, hear me and hear me well. Look in the mirror, and the person that's most important to you is the person that's looking back at you. Get your ass up, and in the words of Miss Thing from the movie, do something.
Well, I just want to say this. I want to throw this out there. Black women, we vote. I'm just saying that we carry
black
elections.
Women run everything right now.
So we vote. So thank you. I just want to throw that out there.
Because I'm gonna because for so long, right, black women have carried the votes, right, for us black people.
We still do.
We still do, right? Let me tell y'all something. These white folks are scared. They're scared because now people are finally listening to the black woman, right? Our people been listening to us, but their people's ear, their nephew's ear, their son's ear is to our voice. Their son's ear is now to our voice, and they're getting scared, right? Because when a black woman speaks, everybody stands to attention.
They shook. Talk about it.
Why you think I'm trying to be a black woman? Why you think I want to be a black woman? I don't want to be no other. I want to be a black woman.
You're looking very thin today.
Right. Oh,
look at Mark trying to get some. You don't stop.
Oh, Allison you look like you lost weight too.
Y'all don't never have to leave. We could do laugh and learn forever. Y'all don't ever leave. Keep on complimenting me. TTJ, you go somewhere you ain't said nothing. Come on, keep on. Am I skinny?
She's giving me very,
No, I
she's
was
giving me
getting
very
ready to
naughty,
say you're. No, I was getting ready to say you're giving fish today. I like the whole thing.
very
Fish.
naughty college professor.
Yeah.
In
I don't know.
sequence.
No,
In the
no,
sequence.
I would technically be the nutty professor. You just figured out.
Mark, you just trying to stay out the class. Mark, you just trying to stay out the class with your nasty ass.
Ooh, see, Allison, I told you she cusses.
No, but on a serious note, though, I want to just say thank you to the three of you guys. This was a really, really important and I think robust discussion. So thank you guys for coming on as always.
Wait,
we love
Allison,
y'all.
before you leave, Allison, I need you to just let people know how important it is that, like, you've been stressing about the local level of voting. I told you I was guilty of that too. I would only vote for the big names, president, governor. I didn't care about alderman, city council. I just didn't mayor. I just didn't care about that because I didn't think that it affected me. So I love that you come on and educate us that, because it lets us know that in order to get who we want and to be the president, we got to start real low and help build them up there in steps.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
So I encourage people to look at it like this. Think about the government. Government is down, up, not top down, right?
Right.
So think about a plant in the ground, right? When you plant a seed into the ground, right? In order for that seed to grow, you have to nurture it, right? But if we keep planting these seeds and growing them, they're gonna grow dead, right? So when you think about your local government, think about a seed that you want to come back to see. Right. Think about a plant that you want to come back to see. And if we do not water the seed that we planted, we're going to always come back to dead plants. Well, Allison, what is the dead plant? These state representatives, these U.S. senators, these presidents and vice presidents that we may not like in the 4 years and 8 years to come, these governors, right? But just think about it. If I nurture my seed, which is my local government, then I'm going to start seeing state representatives I like. I'm going to start seeing governors I like. I'm going to start seeing congresswomen and congressmen and U.S. senators and presidents and vice presidents. I'm going to begin to see a world that I like. So think about it. Think about it like a seed, right? If you don't nurture the seed, you're going to always get dead plants. And so my question to everybody, are we tired? Are we finally tired of the dead plants? Because I am. That's why I'm running.
That's going to be the name of this week's show, Nurturing My Seed. Yes.
Yeah.
Nicholas, I want to nurture. I need somebody to nurture my seed.
Thank you, TT Jen. Thank you, Allison. We appreciate you guys as always. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you, Allison. Y'all follow Allison.
you,
Allison Lewis Lakeland.
Bye-bye.
She is running for city council in Lakeland, Florida. You need to look her up, listen to her politics. Make sure you follow TT Jan at Waits Williams and Marky Mark. Let me tell you something. Everybody does their own thing, and they all talk about it. We don't always agree, but we always come to a conversation, which is most important. You got to talk about it in order to make some changes about it. Hi, Nick.
I love that, planting the seed. You've got if you don't water it, it won't grow. That was fantastic. Absolutely. 100%.
You was gone all weekend. What kind of seeds was you planting in Chicago, pimping?
Okay, let's revert the conversation.
Look at Nicholas for being professional. He only been professional,
Thank you,
y'all. As soon
Lauren.
as he get off this phone, he's going to call me and give me all the dirt. Let me tell y'all.
Lord.
Nick, that Allison, do you agree with how she was saying that we need to start locally to go higher?
100%. We everything starts in the community. I'll tell you something else too. I agree also with the body cam. We've got to figure out the funding for that, because I completely agree that if we have that information recorded, we at least have to have that information recorded. I think that that should be part of the standard of uniform. That video equipment is part of your uniform, that every interaction, every engagement with any citizen is recorded. Just as simple. I think that transparency is the best thing for all parties involved, and that if we have that on video recording, it can help clear up situations, explain situations, give families peace, or hold those accountable who may have crossed the line.
But aren't they trying to challenge, like you guys said, aren't they challenging? So like Lauren and me and you see in an altercation, and I'm videotaping it, but the officer has his camera. What's the difference between me videotaping and his camera?
So the difference is, from what I understand, and anybody in the comments or Nick, you can correct me if I'm wrong. From what I understand is that because the body camera footage or the body cam, I should say, that the police officer has, it's automatically admissible in court because, to Nick's point, it's a part of their uniform, so they can record it. But I do know that there's some situations where if an altercation is recorded and people aren't aware that they're being recorded, it could become a legal issue saying I didn't consent for you to record me.
You
So
think
then it
George?
can't
You
be
think Derek
admissible.
Chauvin would have consented to killing George Floyd? You think he would have wanted that on film?
Well, he knew he was being filmed, though. That's the thing. So, even though the teenager was, because I don't want to say her name, as she was recording the altercation throughout it, he knew at one point that he was being recorded and it wasn't an issue. Yeah. So that's how I understand it. Again, I said I could be wrong, but that was my understanding of it. That's why officer body cam footage is admissible in court, whereas it becomes a bit of a sticky situation if you're recording somebody and they're not aware that they're being recorded.
And I've now seen that some of the police officers will try to do something to you if you're recording them.
Exactly,
so
because they don't want to be recorded.
And then to put your camera down. No, this is my phone. You ain't paid for this.
Exactly.
See, I'm that one. I'll be don't tell me what to do with rule number 4 for Love Lounge. This is my shit.
Well, that's why sometimes you'll see people recording, but they'll put their phone down so you can at least hear what the officer is saying, but you can't see their face because that's allowed. But they can't. They have to consent in order for you to actually film them.
That's terrible.
So
though,
funny you would say that, Lauren.
Could you imagine?
I literally went through a situation this weekend with my mom, showing her how to hold her camera discreetly to record situations, because I want her to know how we are very quick and we know how to operate our phones probably easier, but I wanted her to know how to do that, and you can be discreet. I said, Mom, and you put it up like you're taking a selfie and you can be recording the entire time, but I want you to know how to quickly access this camera. So we just, absolutely, I think it's important.
Could you imagine us hearing about George Floyd's death if we didn't have that girl who videotaped that?
Well, that's true, because if you even look at what the police put out afterwards, they said that it was a medical, where they tried to say that George Floyd basically had a medical issue, and then when he arrived at the hospital, he died. That was the statement that the Minneapolis police put out initially, and had we not had the footage, we wouldn't have known that Derek Chauvin actually had his knee on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, and that was actually the cause of his death, because the way that the police put it out, it was, he had a medical distress situation. We took him to the hospital and he just died.
Amsterdam, here I come, because y'all don't want to give it. I'm moving to Amsterdam. Nicholas, they got the good stuff. Red light district, here I come.
So Nick, what are your final thoughts? Because we got to close out at this point. We're a little over time, so go ahead.
Hey, final thoughts. Like I said, I think that there is a conversation that needs to continue, Lauren. I think we can talk about qualified immunity all day, every day, because I think that that's an issue. I understand why it's in place, because I do believe that there are some government officials who deserve to have that protection. But I think that to have a blanket system in place that removes the accountability factor for members of law enforcement is a premise that needs to be questioned and examined.
Hey, Meech, that's very true, Meech. If we didn't see the Rodney King video on film, we would have heard about it. It would have had a different impact. Even though they still got off, you see what happened with the riots here in California. Yeah. Sadly, the video footage don't seem to be enough anymore. They still getting away with it.
Well, in some cases, it's effective. We talked about George Floyd.
Right.
It was
and
effective in
Ahmaud
some
Arbery.
cases.
And I think the
Ahmaud
video
Arbery,
allows a conversation, at least before the conversation, because I think, Flame, there was even conversations within our own community where we'd be like, well, why didn't you just act right? If you just do what you're told, you wouldn't have this problem. But now video is telling a very different story that, you know what, maybe, there's a problem here. Why is this happening?
I don't know if anybody in our community ever said, why didn't you just act right? Shoot.
That's like somebody telling me, oh, you pretty for a black girl.
Yeah,
you pretty for a black queen. No, bitch, I'm pretty anyway. You funny looking. I don't care what color you is.
Yeah.
See, that's my mouth. I'm the clapback is real. The clapback comes, and I don't even be knowing it's coming. My man be shut down just automatically. That's why I'm having a closed casket funeral, because I know somebody gonna say something smart, and I'm gonna ask God, dude, can I get a 2-minute pass? Because I'm going back and check this bitch. I don't know who she thinks she talking to. I'm gonna raise up out the casket. Look at here, Plimp. Who you talking about? And then go back.
I'm opening that casket and say, get up. What you doing? Get up.
I already put the sign on the door, baby. You are not allowed at my funeral, because you're going to come up in there with one of them shirts and ties, and that ain't how I really know you. Or you might come down and think jumping rope. Oh!
For me, though, I'll just say my final thought is I really hope that coming into 2022, especially that we all get out and vote. Florida just passed another voting rights law that's going to, limit the ability for people of color to go out and vote.
Yes.
We also just found out that Keisha Lance Bottoms is not running for re-election in Atlanta, which is so upsetting. So my main thing is I hope that, despite all of the barriers that are being put up in, Florida and Atlanta and Texas is coming up too,
and then North Carolina.
And
I'm
North
telling you,
Carolina, there's a lot of cities where I think they're on the verge of turning purple, and we see that, and they're trying to put all these restrictive voting laws in place. I still encourage people to do their best to get out and vote. I know it's going to be hard coming up in this next year, and then again in 2024, but I think we all have a responsibility to go out and do our part.
Hi, Big Meech. I'm thinking that we have to come up with a strategic plan because, Nicholas, if your mom is in line and I'm in Chicago and we're voting and it's 90 degrees outside and she's an older woman, if I have a folding chair or give her a bottle of water, I'm going to get in trouble. So what we should do, all these quiet, big name celebrities with all this money, because I ain't one of them. First of all, I'm still talking and I ain't got y'all money. Let's rent buses. Let's have a system of hiring buses for neighborhoods that have water and chairs and everything that they need on those buses. So if I'm standing in line for 3 hours, instead of somebody saying, you brought me water, hold my place in line, I'm going to get me a chair. I'm going to give me something to drink to keep me going. We have to fight them back and be a little smarter than they are and strategically win this. In the words of Denzel Washington and John Q, the wife said, fucking do something. We got to do something. This right here ain't getting it done. It ain't getting it done. We still dying.
Well, I think, too, that's where the strategic part's going to have to come in because, like in Michigan, for instance, there were these group of women who were trying to transport people to and from the polls free of charge, and that ended up being illegal. They couldn't do that. So to your point, we're really going to have to get strategic, especially coming up in 2022, because the laws that they're putting in place is making everything freaking illegal.
If you can't win the game, change the rules. That's exactly.
I personally think that we should hire a bunch of P-Valley buses and let a bunch of old ladies be on there stripping, getting their life, baby. I got my dollar bill stripped.
You know what? Flame got a point. Did y'all see the Get Your Booty to the Polls
ad
worked. From the strippers in Atlanta?
Atlanta turned blue.
Yep.
Atlanta
Get
turned
your booty
blue.
to the polls.
Down in the valley where the old ladies get naked. Yes.
They weren't old ladies.
I'm just saying that we want a bunch of old. We're doing this for the older people. We're doing it. I could watch a 75-year-old stripper. That would be funny as shit. Oh my God. Diapers and everything.
Oh goodness. Nick, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at Nick Smith News on all social media platforms.
And I am Lauren Hogan on YouTube. And yes, I played Ketchup, and all of the episodes are now on my YouTube page. So y'all can go watch them there. I have officially caught up. And I'm also Lauren Armani H on Instagram.
And I will not be in Delaware this weekend. That's what I am. I will not be in Delaware this weekend. I got a new job with Karen Hunter starting next Friday for Sirius Radio. I'm very excited about that.
And what are you doing next Monday?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that, Lauren. Thank you, manager. She's so smart. Monday, the 17th, we're finalizing the show with the Comedy Store. It was a series for Amazon, and I remember I left it out a couple of weeks ago early, so we're finalized. I'm taking pictures Monday with Dave Chappelle, Cedric the Entertainer, Kevin Hart. I will be in spaces
Our
with
boss,
those
Tiffany
men.
Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish, and I will have on the nastiest dress in my collection. Somebody gonna get excited.
And where can everybody find you to see said dress on live next Monday?
You can catch me at Flame Monroe on, what is my Flame Monroe? Oh, Instagram. No.
No, you're Monroe Flame.
Monroe Flame on Instagram. Flame_Monroe on Twitter. YouTube, I'm Flame Monroe. And Marcus Flame Monroe Parker on Facebook. But you can catch me tonight at 6:30, 6:40 for Love Lounge, because we will be there and we're going to have a great time. Love Lounge is not political. It's not this show. I'm with God. When I say I'm with God, I'm not godly. I'm just sitting up there with that nigga. Well, we have a great time. Bring your music, bring your relationship questions, because I am a relationship guru. I have been the husband and the wife, sometimes in the same night. And I may not be good at relationships, but I can fix your relationship. Can't I, Nicholas?
You sure can.
Ayana ain't got shit on me, and I got good knees. Come on with it. Thank you guys so much for joining us at Laugh and Learn, because here at Laugh and Learn, the message is always the same. What is the message, Nicholas?
We are not trying to get anybody to change their mind.
We are simply trying to get you to use your mind.
And some of you dumbasses need to know that you have a man that you need to use, because a brain is for using. This is not the scarecrow. And sometimes y'all think I got brains, but what's my favorite line from The Wizard of Oz? Some people without brains do an awful lot of talking. This is Laugh and Learn with Nick Smith. Lauren Hogan, Flame Monroe, Kendall, and Tribble. We out, because I want to take my wig off. See y'all
Bye,
tonight.
guys.
Bye.